welcome to another episode of Diary of a Professional. This is Ashley.
It is Lou here.
And we have Mary J from the Turnt30 Podcast. So welcome, everyone. And before we get started with our topic, we like to set the tone and be grateful for things. So let's do our moment of gratitude. So go ahead, Marlo, take it off for us.
Yes, love. Okay. This week, at least for now, I'm going to take it while I got it. I am grateful to it's the winter time. It's cold. The sun, she don't really want to be showing her face like that. I respect it, whatever. But I haven't been feeling that seasonal depression that I think I've been anticipating. And I don't know if it's actively trying to do things or just, a great headspace. I was online and I think it was Taraji P. Henson, she's all the way in Bali because, it's beautiful that she recognizes that she's not happy and she's the only one who could work on it. But we don't all have Bali money. And I don't know what they have in the water, but I don't got it like that right now. And I'm just thankful that I don't need to have it like that right now. Sometimes, when you kind of feel okay, am I waiting for the shoe to drop? Is it coming or whatever? But I'm just kind of happy to be in the space where it's all good. I'm good. So that's what I'm thankful for.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Mary.
Oh, me. Hey.
Yeah.
I am thankful for employment. I think, I'm personally going through a transition right now, and I've just started job searching and interviewing and things like that, but I do have a job, and I know there's been a lot of tech layoffs. I know Google just, I think, laid a bunch of people off this past week, and just a lot of the tech companies I know have been going through it and pulling the rug from under people. And so I'm just beyond grateful and thankful that I'm not in that situation, and I'm choosing to move on, and it's not being forced upon me.
Talk about it.
It's just this from recession to inflation and just the different things going on right now. It's just such a blessing to get a check. So I'm grateful.
Amen.
I am thankful.
Yes. I heard some people's getting laid off through an email. That's disrespectful.
They've been wild with it. They've been turning off your badge once you get to the office to scan in. They've been, sending emails or just and group emails too. Not even individually.
That's crazy.
All types of wild stuff. So, and it's just a crazy time right now, I think.
And they're going to turn a crazy profit like they always do, which is so wild to me.
Of course. Who's not using Google?
Right.
Or Twitter.
It's a verb, it's a noun, it's the adjective, it's all of that. It's all
exactly.
of that.
Exactly. So they don't care. So, yeah. That's me.
Amen.
Jay, tell us.
I think it's so funny because I can relate to both. I feel we're in I guess, are we considered the Northeast, or we're the East Coast? So the winter is not as bad as, I don't want to jinx it. So
Right.
It's the temperature's been doable, and I think overall, as we're just all navigating whatever stressors, it's okay, one less thing. We haven't had. Again, I really don't want to jinx it, but we haven't had a snow day, haven't had a show. So those things matter, in adulthood, where it's okay, it was cute when you was young and go play in the snow. Now it's a burden. So, in the similar fashion, I think I felt a little bit better, this season as well. And I feel it's probably just because of the temperature. Unfortunate for global warming, but anyway, I'll take it.
Global warming or whatever.
I think I'm grateful. I have this I feel in the last 2-3 weeks newfound confidence, and though it came from being super stressed because there's been a lot of changes at work and a lot of stuff put on my plate that's not in my job description. So people have heard to hear me as per my last email. It's been a lot of please advise and per my last emails lately.
Okay.
But I think 2 years ago, let alone 5 years ago, me like would not have been so vocal. So I felt very much, and I don't know if it's just this transition. Mary and I have talked about it on our podcast, where it's like, I don't know if this almost, like mid-30s season is like, okay, now I know what I want. I know what I definitely don't want and what I'm not willing to tolerate. I think like our early 30s for us was just very, all right, transitioning into this. Now I'm really an adult. I'm really responsible. You're trying to juggle it all and make sense of it. Now that I've kind of got it made sense of it kind of thing, now I can translate it and tell y'all, no, what you're not about to do. So I found this like the last 2 weeks. I'm grateful for this newfound confidence.
Isn't it liberating?
It's very liberating. I may not have Bali money, but but my mouth is freeing me from people. My mouth has been freeing me from people.
Listen, that's something money can't. Yeah, money can't buy that.
Exactly.
Always priceless.
Right.
Okay. I guess I've been grateful to just honestly, I have from November till now, I just haven't been closing my charts. I'm a nurse practitioner. I just haven't been closing my charts. I've just been, last patient I see, oop, I'm out the door.
I know that.
Just out the door. Charts are just open. I'm just living my best life. Until recently, my manager came to me and she sat me down. She's like, you're still in last year, and we're in a new year, boo-boo. So, what are we gonna do?
We need our money for Medicaid. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it was more like, bitch, better have my money.
Yeah.
It was like, I was like, so I'm just grateful I've been able to find the focus and discipline now. And maybe I do work better under pressure in these moments. I don't know. Like these past few days to just like hone in and be like, all right, let me get these charts out right now because I'm not showing up to work. And any more money to these people. But yeah, I guess I'm grateful for focus and discipline because it's not easy to have that at times, although it seems like I've been slacking, but you'll always find it back in a way. So.
You were just taking the necessary time needed. You weren't trying to bring work home.
Right. Right. Boundaries.
God bless y'all that do. Boundaries. You see how we rebrand that? Don't you feel better?
Thank you. I feel
we just
really
switched the label on it. Come on. You're putting yourself first, mental health and yourself first.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. I like that.
We got you.
It was a temporary, a temporary situation. It's a new year, new you. Now you back better than ever.
That's it.
Come on.
Yes. Listen, the end of the year, everybody should be off because we just been through a lot. Since 2020, we've been through a lot. So don't come to me in December of any year looking for like high levels of productivity. Because why?
I'll never understand it. Those last 2 weeks, I'll never understand it. Maybe through December 7th, I can give you something. But
fair.
After December 15th, really,
because that time from before Christmas, you like, oh shit, I gotta buy people things. Didn't even know I liked you. Oh wait, this one had a baby, gotta get them something. And then Christmas comes, and that is the longest week of the year. That could be its own year. December 25th to like January 1st. So like, no.
I'm on board.
So true. Because by mid-November, I just shut down. I just was like,
because you were probably already ready for Thanksgiving, and then from there, it's holiday season.
That's it. Before that,
tree and it's done.
Right in October, they had Christmas stuff in the store. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you already know how I feel about that. I feel like once
Yeah.
Labor Day is over, it's Christmas season these days. So,
Sam, just bypass just
bypass.
a whole September, October, and just
Yeah, we're
I'm
right
rolling.
into Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm rolling.
But let's get into our topic. We are so
Yes.
thankful and excited to have Turnt30 Podcast with us and joining us in this episode today. We wanted to talk about friendships and how they've evolved from our 20s to our 30s. So I just want to throw it out there, like, how do you guys view your friendships back in your 20s? Just casual, just throwing it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I think for me, I was definitely down for the good times, the good vibes, very low requirements, low maintenance. Like my friendships, I think, were very much like, I've already known you, so I'm keeping you around just because it feels familiar, and I don't want to restart. I don't want to find new friends. And so just like clinging to the familiar, I think. Like I had like a lot of people that I had technically outgrown around me, but it just felt so comforting that it was like the security blanket of like, but I've known you since middle school, or like, like it just, I can't let that go. And so I think a lot of my 20s friendships were like that. And then, like I said, the good times, the good vibes, the brunch, the partying, the girls trips, like nothing too deep. I would say very like surface level. Yeah, that was my 20s. It's pretty sad. No.
I don't think it's that at all. I really agree with you. I just felt like my 20s was just all about the good times and having those friends I've known since grade school and going out here and going out there. And for some reason also too, since I've known them for so long, I felt the need to really protect it. I felt that I had to make sure that friendships were going okay because I've known them for so long. So if there was something going wrong, I'd be like, it's okay, no problem. They just disrespected me to the T. But hey, I've known them for 15 years. That's my homegirl. We're cool. We're fine. Not a problem. And I would just let things go over my head. I let things slide time and time again. I felt like in my 20s, I was really disrespecting myself a lot of times with these friendships. Just because I've known them for such time.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about my friendships in my 20s. But yeah.
I think for me, my 20s taught me that it's always going to be quality over quantity. In terms of even the ones that you've known longer, what does that mean? You know what I mean? I could have had the friends that I've had in high school, and sometimes it took kind of like almost like breathing new air, fresh air with the friends that I made in college to be like, well, my energy is different with them versus the other group. Or certain things that, let's say, I could have been tolerating with older friends, my new friends who don't know them, because, especially when you're part of a friend group, it makes cutting ties that much harder. So when you have new friends who like don't know, don't care, don't need to care about how long, if y'all go back, to diapers, like, no, nobody should be treating you that way. That's crazy. Like, and then you're like, oh shit, like I'm in an abusive relationship.
Ooh, okay, go ahead, because that was a word, but go ahead.
And just like Ashley said, you kind of want to defend it because you have longevity and you know how it is. It's like, I mean, everything I told you is that bad, but when you say it back to me, no, you're not understanding. No, it's not as bad as it sounds. No, it is. Stop playing. I heard what you said. You meant what you said the first time. And I think, like, we have a mutual friend, and it sticks to me till this day. If you were to meet this person for the first time today, would you like them? Would you associate with them? And if the answer is no, then you're doing it out of habit. And we don't have time for that. Habits aren't necessarily always a good thing. So, yeah, no. That's what I learned.
I just want to just quickly jump onto just something you just said about the friend group aspect, because that, like, in my younger years, that was like the thing. Like, there was always a group, and it's kind of like you're all intertwined or interconnected. You feel like you had to be friends with everyone just because, like, however the group is established, like, whatever it was that made you all friends. There was just like a pressure to like keep that close-knit group bonded. And so even if there was like one or two individuals that you were like, in the, like, outside of this, like, in the real world, if, like you just said, like, if I just met you, or like, you know, we met under different circumstances, I would never be associated with you, or like we would never be friends. But because you're somehow interwoven into this group of people, now I have to tolerate you and your behavior and like whatever comes with that drama or whatever negativity. It's like that. I feel like that made up a good chunk of my friendships also. Just because, like I said, just because someone was just kind of written into the group and just feeling like responsible for the unit of the group, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Why, I don't know. You don't want to be that burden. You don't want to be the one to make it awkward, you know? And sometimes not everyone sees what you see, because not everyone's treated the same. Not everyone's getting that same level of respect. So they won't get it. You know what I mean? You're like in this group, but on an island on your own.
Right.
I don't know.
It's definitely true. I mean, we all know people mature differently, and then, like, you know, their life experience is going to shape them, and what they could bring to the table. But I don't know. Maybe I sound really messed up where I'm just in that season of like, okay, but I'm still going to tell you how I feel. Like, exactly like you said, Lou. Like, I heard what you said when you said it. People don't talk about gaslight friends enough. People love to use the word gaslight in like romantic relationships, but friends be gaslighting too. Friends be gaslighting too. So I don't know. Y'all can tell I'm in a transition phase with everything. I'm in a transition with work, and I'm in a transition with friends.
Listen, burn it down if that's what you need to do.
Start from scratch.
Sage in every corner. Relationship, work, friends, sage in every corner.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, because I just don't feel like, I don't think at least for me, I don't think I was prepared for that. Like, to end friendships as much as I did heading into my 30s. I don't know. I had like this false idea in my mind, like, oh yeah, these are my girlfriends forever. We're gonna grow old together, you know. Ray, tay. And I kid you not, by the time I hit 30 on like 30, I was like, oh no, this is not sitting right with me anymore. I just started to become more vocal with my needs. Instead of me saying, oh, it's okay. And I'm like, no, but let's talk about this. Well, how did you feel, or why did you feel to do this? Let's get here, you know? And once I started speaking about how I feel and what I need from the friendship, and how I don't feel like, you know, maybe we've just outgrown each other, you know, I just felt like that started to happen a lot in my 30s now, that I'm looking around like, my circle's kind of small now. I'm like thinking these days, am I the problem? Am I the drama? Am I the drama?
Right.
And a part of me feels that way, but a part of me is like, no, I'm choosing peace too as well. So
yeah.
It's nice to hear that it's not just me. At least I think that way. It's not just me just revamping what I need in my life right now.
Yeah. No, it's self-awareness and maturity. And then I think also friendship dynamics change as like you said, for example, you start speaking up for yourself more, or being more vocal about like what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and people feel like you've changed because that's not something you've always done. And so now it looks like, I don't recognize you, I don't know who you are anymore type of energy. And then that can kind of bring up some conflict and even sometimes unresolved conflict because, like you said, you've been sweeping things up under the rug for years and years and letting things slide for years and years. So they're used to that. They're used to you letting stuff kind of roll down your back. So when you start like stopping things in their tracks, it's like, wait, hold on, you never used to call me out when I did this, or like, you never used to have an issue when I would talk to you like that. And then that's kind of how I feel like those dynamics start to shift, they start to change, and then ultimately the friendship, breakup happens.
See, I feel like you said something, Ashley, that people, like, sometimes it's, all right, we canceling people, you moving on or whatever. But sometimes, unfortunately, peace is a price. You know what I mean? Peace can sometimes have you alone. It's more than just being like, oh shit, I have no one to go to brunch with. Like, it really has you sometimes second guessing yourself, even though it's for the better. With anyone that you love, if you break up with someone, there's a reason why y'all broke up, but there's also good that was there too. And it's like that moving on part and sticking. Like, I'm the kind of person, if I'm going to, like, I don't move off of emotion. Like, if I am having that kind of conversation with you, I promise you I've had 10 different versions of it in my head and how it's going to go. And I've already made peace with it. Like, I'm not sad when it happened because my sadness, I was already there. You might not have known it happened, but it already happened for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But for a lot of people, it's kind of like when it's that last straw or that last thing that they did. And it's just like, I didn't want to have to let you go, but I do.
Yeah. And I want to, but I need to.
Right. Like, I don't even think I would even begin to know, like, how do you just do that? Because especially when there's so many different ties, or, your parents love them and you have so many people be like, so where's this person? How they doing? Don't ask me about that girl. Don't ask me about him.
We grew apart. Take it as a clue. I'm here alone today. I'm here alone. That should be clue enough.
That should be enough.
It's never enough. That's just the
no, it's not. Yeah, I was gonna say no, it's not, because it's like, and don't let it be somebody that you're dumb close to, because then it's like, yeah, like you said, the families are involved, all your other friends that are used to seeing you with that person, everybody gotta know what happened. It's a whole thing. Yeah, been there, done that, wrote the book. It's a time.
But that's I don't want to curse, but that mess is irking.
Hey, how you feel?
It's irking because, like, why y'all questioning me? Just like you said, it's the tip of the iceberg where it should just be enough. Okay, I'm here today. Take me as I am today. Why you gotta ask me about some from the past, even if it was only 24 hours ago? Like, don't ask me about that friend. Do you see them today? Today is a new day. It is a new day. But they gotta dissect it. Like, my decision making is not enough. Why do you have to know the why? Just so that it is what it is. Why do you have to know the why? Like, just like, and that's, I didn't want to skate past that where she said that, like, I've, gone all the possible, like, narratives, how this was going to go. How am I going to feel about it? Am I ready to let it go? I am. I've made peace with it. So I'm making peace and you trying to create calamity. Like, I made peace with it. Why are you asking me, oh, what happened? Mm-hmm. What does it matter? The person not coming back, if I tell you what happened, I let that go. I let it go. It's not a yo-yo. I let it go. It's gone. It's gone.
Not a yo-yo.
I love that. It's true.
Yeah. Nah, true though. I let it go.
I'm over it, and I'm allowed to be over it. Like I'm not who I was yesterday, and that's fine. It's not and it doesn't have to always be drama. Like
That's
some real housewife, whatever. It's not drama. Like I'm just a new person, and maybe that person didn't make it to this new season, a new version of me, and that's okay.
Absolutely.
And that's okay. Yep.
It's true. It doesn't have to be beef. Because trust me, if you meant something to me, I'm not going to put your business out there. No. I'm not trying to have you look crazy. Maybe who you were to me is not who you are to other people, and that's for them to figure out. Like, nobody got time for smear campaigns. Like, we're not doing that. But it is what it is, and it no longer is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
And I feel like now too in my 30s, I feel so sensitive about my shit. Like I feel so every single move I do, whether it be career, whether it be dating life, whether it be having children or not, I'm just sensitive. So whoever I choose to share that information with, I really want you to hold that with high regard. It's a privilege to know this. And I also feel like if you're not encouraging me, if you're not being supportive to me, I'm quick to be like, okay, no, or I'm changing the boundaries of this friendship because everything is super personal to me. Back in my 20s, I'm like, yeah, girl, I'll do this, and yeah, girl, I'm dating this guy, and very, take. Now I'm like, like if you're not here to encourage me or tell me, and make sure your delivery as well too, that like listen, you gotta actually, I think there's room for improvement here, or maybe you shouldn't do this, and these are my reasons why, or if you can't do that for me too as well right now in this season, I don't even want to hear it either. So that's how I feel right now currently. We'll see as time goes on in my 30s, but right now that's how I feel too.
Yeah, I think I definitely expect you to add value at this stage of life. Like, if I have you in my world and like in my orbit, I'm expecting you to bring something to it. So like how I had mentioned, like when I was younger, things were very like surface level maybe, or I didn't demand much. Now it's like, no, now I have expectations. Now I need you to pour into me just like I'm pouring into you. Now I'm expecting reciprocity. Like there's a whole not laundry list, but there's a whole list of things that I kind of have like created to foster the relationships that I have. Because it's like at this stage in life, it requires a lot more maintenance to have friends at all, to be honest. Like to even make time for friendships and like really like build. So if I'm putting the energy into something, I'm expecting something back. And so if I feel like this is not a 50-50 split at this stage in life, I mean, you're disposable. Honestly, I mean, I hate to use that. No, I don't. Yeah. You're disposable. And it's just kind of is what it is at this point. I mean, maybe that changes as you enter the next decade. But yeah, I think for me right now, like it's just there's too many like moving pieces going on in life. We're all just still trying to like get our footing and like stability, and like we're just trying to like create our families, get our work lives together. Like it's just so much going on that is like you cannot be a stressor. Like you can't be like a downer. You cannot be pulling me back. Like none of that. So I'm only expecting elevation from friends at this point. And that's just, I think that's the type of time I'm on. I've been on. And like you said, Ashley, like I feel like it was like the stroke of midnight turning 30. That it was just like, listen, like the Cinderella snap back to reality. Like I feel like it was like midnight, and I was like, yeah, no, I ain't got the time anymore.
Wasn't that a beautiful transition into 30? People thought, even maybe I thought, like, what is about to happen? And I stepped into that bitch, and I was like, I love it here.
Did you immediately step into it and love it?
I kind of did. First of all, I had a bomb ass 30th birthday party. Okay. It was a 90s theme, girl. It was popping. And it just felt like I'm grown and I like it. Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't have that kind of feeling stepping into 30? No.
Mine was a little different. I had my son 2 months before I turned 30. So I was like entering motherhood at the same time as transitioning into 30. So it was like two major life-changing kind of energies happening at the same time. And so I really feel like I just snapped into that, like, I'm not wasting my time type of energy. Like, I really feel like I went to sleep, woke up, and I was just like, wow, like, some people gotta go. It was giving, like, Tyra Banks ANTM. Like, I only have space for 3 friends, and there's 5 of you. Somebody has to go. Like, it really...
She said not to be dramatic, but...
No, of course not to be dramatic, pero it's just like, that's kind of what it was. Like, I barely have time for myself at this point. Like, you so-and-so, you've been draining me for like the past like 8 months anyway. You bring a lot of drama and a lot of like childishness. Okay, you can go. We don't talk about anything substantive. Like, you have no goals. You have no prospects in life. Like, you're just here for the ride. You can go. Like, it was just... I know. It sounds bad, but I promise you it was a positive turning point for me.
Let me tell you, even the people that you like, you might not be able to put your little finger on what it is, but you know, we got a clean house. Have you ever regretted anyone you X'd out of your life? Have you ever said, damn, I really want them back, or, ooh, it looked good on that side of the fence? Has that ever happened?
Never, not once for me. For me, never, not once.
Low key, it happened once. Low key, it happened once.
So you were the drama. Okay, you were the drama.
You are the drama.
Look. There's an exception to every rule. Okay, there's always an exception. Okay, and you know, I've since...
You can tell about the stuttering. What did Joe say? You can tell about the stuttering.
I've since then pieced it up, yo. I've since then pieced it up. It's all good in the hood now. But in the moment, for the period of time that we were not friends, that was what I needed in that moment. It was a couple of years. It was a moment of time that they just did not fit into that headspace that I was in. And then retroactively, I reevaluated some things and decided that, you know,
I never spun the block on what does that look like? What kind of maturity? Because usually
you trusted yourself the first time. That's what it looked like.
Oh,
we've been there. I would say I've never really... I know you said, like, asked about regret. I've never like, damn, like, I regret it. Of course, you might like maybe miss whatever shenanigans. You're like, that's my partner in crime, whatever. And now you got to get used to like life operating maybe differely. So I never regretted it. Maybe there's been, like you said, that immediate like, damn, that was my go-to, who I'm gonna call to go do this X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But I've let people like re-enter my life, and now obviously I've done it in the past. I don't know if I'm doing it again. Like, I feel like it's like you let them re-enter, and it's like I gave you too many chances, you know, to disrespect me. It's like I should have just trusted my instinct, or like, I don't know. You know, sometimes now I think I look at it like, damn, what is it about me that lets you think that you could do this? Like, what am I giving off that lets you think that this is okay? Because you're not doing it to somebody else. You wouldn't dare this. Like, what is it about me? So I think that's where, you know, some of that confidence and some of that speaking up, or just some of that like, wait a minute. I gave you one too many side. I don't want to say it's like jabs, but you know what I mean, where it's just like it's not reciprocal, or it's just something. It's just not holding its weight. That it's like you dragging me down now. But I've I've if it was like, oh, a little high school petty whatever, so then now we're older, then I'm like, all right, like let's try to rekindle this. We used to have fun, we're older, and then it's like you still are the drama.
I was gonna say, no, someone from high school, no, it's not like that. It would have to be like we had a deep friendship, like it, like the specific instance I'm talking about, the one time, like that was like, it was deeply rooted, and then also the breakup was like very like multi-layered. So yeah, I that's why I said like years passed, and I really had to like sit on it. The immediate period, I was like, nah, fuck that bitch, and let's move on with life. But then it was like, okay, now this is a whole new decade. Like you've had time to experience a little bit more life. I've had time to experience more life, and at your core, I don't think. Like, I think it also depends what your reasonings were for. Because the core, I don't think it was like a bad person, or like I was being like severely mistreated. It was literally just like for a period of time, and like the journey that I was on to self-discovery, that person just didn't fit into that narrative and like that story of learning myself at that time. So, I think it's all very like circumstantial, but that's like the beauty of your 30s. Like, I feel like so much more self-awareness, like we've said, and then just like the confidence, the understanding, like being able to, something for me that was like very hard to do, that I now have improved on, is like communication and like putting my feelings into words. For some reason, I never thought I had to do that in friendships. Like for like relationships with like, with guys and partners, like I understood the like communication dynamics and like articulating your feeling and like all that type of stuff. But for some reason with my friends, I always felt like, but girl, you should know me. Like
all day.
I've known you longer than Joe Schmo that I've been dating for a year. So, like, you should have an understanding. Like, girl, we go back like chiroprac.
Like, I could pick out your titties in a lineup. Like, I know what you, like, we know each other on an intimate level.
Very intimate. Especially when it's like, yo, bestie. So, it was like, I feel like the letdowns and like the heartbreak and all of that hurt like deeper and hurt more, because I had that expectation. So then when I got older, it was like, no, like you need to like treat this the same way that you would treat any other relationship that you value. You need to put forth the same type of energy. You need to tell them what you need from them. You need to, understand what they need from you. You guys should be mutually pouring into one another and like, treating it like a relationship. And that was like one of the biggest, like, I think takeaways for me in these past, couple of years, is just realizing like anyone, like I said, anyone that you choose to have in your world, like you have to value, like, I know you, Ashley, you said like you're very like protective and like, you and I feel that energy too. Like I feel like, okay, like if you're going to be coming along for this ride and like everything that is going on, like which like things that I are super sensitive, things that I really value, then we should both feel like, I don't know, a certain level of comfort in one another, and like, we should just be like nurturing to the relationship.
Yeah.
I got all soft right there. It's growth.
I agree. Like I was never one of those people, but like it's not your 20s where you're like, oh, this is like my party friend and this is my whatever friend. Like if you were my friend, you were a whole rounded bitch and I could go to you for some prayer and some clubbing, and it's all gonna be one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the energy to be like, wait, so did I tell her about this? No, that's too deep. Not like, no. You either gonna know it all, or you're not gonna know anything. And then I won't call you a friend because everybody doesn't get that label and that title. Yeah, you got to start fine tuning and pruning people at any age, but especially in your 30s. I feel like the risks are higher. Like we have like real life, responsibilities and jobs, and yeah, no, we don't have time to play. Mm-mm.
Zero.
Period. So then, do we have anything we want to say to any of our 20-year-old listeners out there about their friendships?
I mean, for me, like the rough patches, the lessons, the experiences, like it's gonna happen regardless. There's no way to avoid it. You know how it's like there's sometimes where you give people advice so that they don't have to go through whatever storm. It's like, oh, skip this by doing this.
Right.
I don't think like friendship ruts and like learning yourself is something that you're gonna ever be able to bypass. I think hopefully, like if I had to give advice to my younger self, it's just like it's okay. Like it's gonna be messy, it's gonna be weird, it's gonna be awkward, it's gonna be a headache. You're gonna have a lot of good times, but sometimes you're gonna have a lot of times where you're questioning the moment, like how I feel like I've either outgrown this person. I feel like this person's not listening to me or respecting me the same way that I respect them. Like there's gonna just be a lot of periods I think where you're just questioning everything, and you feel like because all you ever hear is like loyalty or you know no new friends and things like that, and that's not the case. Like it's okay for new friends, it's okay for new seasons. Loyalty is not infinity. You could be as loyal as until you know what I mean, until it outserves you. Like if it's not serving you anymore, you don't have to just remain loyal to it just for that loyal gang gang gang. Like no, whatever these kids say these days.
Yeah.
I don't know. Gang gang, like I can't. And I mean, there's just no way to avoid it. And I think, and even though like for instance, like for me, like how I mentioned like high school friendships, I meant more so like I didn't really have like close friendships in high school. But if you think about it, like what years are most people like in college? What like 18 to like 20, like early 20s, and then then after school, like, and that's if you go to college, but still, like, you're still changing a lot in those years and then starting the workforce in your early 20s. So then you're going to make like work friends, or you're going to realize the stuff that you used to do, you've grown past it. Or maybe you want to still be like kikiing because maybe you're in grad school, maybe you don't have as many responsibilities, you still living at mom's house, that you could have all this leisure time while somebody else kind of has more responsibilities before you. So that's what I mean. Like, the experiences are going to keep coming and going, and when you actually learn what's going to serve you is not going to be at the same period all the time. It's not going to be like, oh, by 23 I've made up my mind who's going to be my good friend forever, or by like 30 like we on girl trips only with so and so and no new friends. Like no, like it's going to change. Just welcome the growth, and with growth is going to have to come growing pains and like headaches and stuff. So
That's true.
I second that motion. Yeah, I think, well, first of all, I agree with everything that Jay said. Like, it is pretty much one of those things you just have to go through to grow through. But I would say to, like, trust your instincts, because I think a lot of times deep down inside when things are off or like not, the energy is off, or just something is just not, like we said, serving you, and you'll ignore it and you'll push it off and you'll push it, suppress it as long as you can. And then at some point, though, it bubbles up, it erupts, and, sometimes the situation can get messier or more dramatic than it needed to be if you address things earlier on. So I think that would be probably my biggest piece of advice, because you cannot avoid, a lot of the things that we just said. But if you pay attention to yourself and like your needs, your wants, and just like what moves you, I think you can eliminate things earlier, instead of dragging it out, over time.
I heard that.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes it's just wasting time for
It's always wasting time.
for new and better things to come into your life,
Right.
I agree.
So what about you? You too. What are we telling the 20-somethings? What we think?
I think you have to give yourself space to grow, and it's especially in a transitional time. You don't have to be who they've always known you to be, and you don't have to be in that box that they expect of you. You'll know who your people are, and whether you grew up together, you met them yesterday, like energy is a real thing. And if you can like hone into that and okay, so yeah, like I like this. This is good for me. Go with it. You can't be loyal to a fault where you're suffering in the name of loyalty. So
Yeah. I like that. That.
Yeah. I would say, listen, don't think your bestie is staying with you forever and always. To my 20 and something, first and foremost. But also just honing into yourself, and just kind of knowing what works best for you. I think that is important. And cultivate the friendships that you feel are best for you. And you'll see those friendships have longevity. You'll see it along the way which friendships will shed. And it's okay. It's okay to let go. Okay to let go of friendships. I feel like sometimes it's just that familiarity that you were mentioning. It's hard to let go, but it's okay to let go. Yeah. That's what I would say. It's okay to let go.
Ooh, and as a sidebar, just because you look at that person as your bestie doesn't mean that they look at you as their bestie.
So extra gem. That was good. That was good.
You're going to find yourself getting hurt thinking that you did, okay. Hurt your own feelings out here thinking that reciprocity is everything. We'll leave it at that.
It is.
Yeah.
So huge.
I feel like that bestie just hits. I don't know. I'll keep my thoughts to myself. You can't trust people with 6 besties. Like,
no.
2 or 3 is hello. You can only have like 1 or 2 maids of honor. Like, how you think you're gonna have like 6 besties? Like,
that's why I be looking at Monica and Lala sideways. Like, how are y'all everybody best friend? That's crazy to me.
Get it.
You and
Lala is everyone's best friend.
Sierra
I know Monica could be popping up in random places. I'm like, I didn't even know you go here. I know Lala. But maybe money gave them the privilege and the free time to maintain it. Who knows how they define it? But and some people are good at it. It's just exactly like you said. It's about reciprocity, and you know what I mean. Like, you got to know what you could bring to the table and what you can't. Like, so I could never. After 2 is draining. I could never.
Yeah.
I heard that.
But thank y'all so much for having us.
Yes.
We grown into our girliness, I guess. The Turnt30 Podcast would be a little rough around the edges in our younger years, and we get it together in our adulthood, and we always thank like the podcast like community and people for reaching out and just being like listening and just engaging with us, and y'all, like, it's just so funny, like how y'all's podcast like pretty much is the same combos we be having out there. I'm like, they get it. I was like, I don't know if it's the New York, I don't know what it is, but they get it.
It's the New York.
Period. Right? Like, where is it any better? Like, come on.
Talk about it. Yes. But yes, tell everybody where they can find you guys to listen into your great conversations as well.
Well, our podcast is on all the streaming platforms, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, anywhere that you listen to your podcast. It's the Turnt30 Podcast, TURNT, Turnt30 Podcast. And our social media handles are the same. So Instagram, Twitter, at Turnt30 Podcast. Sometimes we like to kick up some dust, get the people going, rile them up a little bit. Over on the Twitter streets, we keep it a little more. We keep it a little more classy on Instagram, but Twitter sometimes we like to ruffle feathers because why
That's
not?
what it's for. Right.
Twitter is for.
right. But I feel like there's just like so many like controversial like topics of things that just people don't really discuss, and just kind of like this conversation we had. I'm sure there's things we said that go against girl code or whatever,
Right.
what have you. But we just like to have the conversations out in the open, and that's pretty much what our pod is about.
All we can do is keep it real. Turn 30,
Yeah.
turn it up. It's always that's our motto, I guess. Keeping it real. And that's the, people try to sugarcoat stuff, and I'm sorry, like friendships aren't gonna go like that. Like, and you may be the drama. Like, there have been times I'm glad I'm the common denominator. So we just out here, letting people know to live through that and learn through it. And this is our experience in our 30s, and I don't know, but 30s is lit.
Yes.
Oh, for
Yes.
sure. For sure.
Okay, next time, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Comment, like, subscribe. Bye.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.